Good evening. To call it shameless would be an understatement. Tonight, police are on the hunt for a suspect who opened fire on a residential home in Surrey and appears to have shared video of the shooting on social media.
Police are investigating that video, which we should warn you is alarming. It was purportedly circulating on TikTok, showing bullet after bullet fired from a gun and entering that home.
Now, in a stunning twist, police say the family members inside were innocent victims, a grandmother nearly wounded.
CTV's Penny Daflos is following this tonight. Penny, a pretty unbelievable example of violence here, and you're learning more tonight about a bizarre possible motive.
Yeah, you know, I've been doing this for a long time and have never heard of a circumstance quite like this, at least not locally. The video and a note left at the scene of the shooting suggests an ongoing feud involving Punjabi singers and organized crime that may have led to the violence that spilled into this Surrey neighborhood.
Okay, I can't show you that part, but you can make it out. They're targeting a house. They were targeting a house.
TikTok post is now considered potential evidence in a very unusual RCMP investigation.
2:40 a.m. in the morning, we all sleeping.
Sukhjit Garcha and his wife were upstairs in their Surrey home, but his father was downstairs and his grandmother had been sleeping right next to the window. And was so startled she didn't even realize the sounds were gunfire.
It was really scary because we didn't accept that because I don't have a problem with anyone.
They're still pulling shell casings from walls riddled with bullets in what appears to be a case of mistaken identity.
I just moved in last September, 5 months ago.
Evidence that we have gathered so far suggests that the current occupant of this residence were not the intended target. In fact, the people who were living in this house prior to this owner may have been targeted.
A note left at the scene references a popular Punjabi singer. A friend of Karen Ojla is believed to be a past resident of the home. The TikTok video threatens Ojla and suggests a feud between the singer involving a gang in the Punjab. For an ongoing beef to escalate to gunfire aimed at an unsuspecting Metro Vancouver family purportedly documented on social media is an unprecedented development.
These people have no regard for public safety whatsoever.
The RCMP has offered victim services and is developing a safety plan with the Garcha family and those who were likely the intended targets. The Garchas are pleading with those responsible.
Don't hit somebody, innocent people.
Now, Surrey RCMP have reached out to TikTok to learn more about the account that posted the video, because essentially that's an extra and exceptional piece of potential evidence they can use in their investigation. We really never have quite seen a situation quite like this one. Scott?
Surrey Mayor Brenda Locke is urging the federal government to designate the Bishnoi Gang and similar groups involved in extortion and violence as terrorist organizations.
They have to stand up for Surrey residents, and right now we need their help, and we need it right now, today.
Recently, the Lower Mainland has seen a spike in violent incidents where local businesses have been targeted, residential homes shot at, and vehicles smashed. While SBS highlighted 10 cases of extortion this year, they've not confirmed any link to gangs.
I'm angry, and I'm very concerned for City.
Locke says deeming the Bishnoi Gang and other groups involved in extortion cases as terrorist organizations would give police the proper tools to dismantle these networks of international crime.
Any tool that's given to the police always helps anyways, so this will be a step in the right direction.
Right now, Surrey is the epicenter of this.
According to Locke, a major issue is extortion victims are too scared to report the crimes and suggests a specific hotline for victims to call.
I think we all have to question, why are people in our city, in our province, in our country afraid to call the authorities?
SBS says they've created a task force specifically for extortion and say results are on their way.
They'll be working strictly on extortion-related cases. Because we're the municipal model, we're nimble enough to make those changes. So that's the first step in the right direction. And that team will be investigating, and we'll be hoping that charges will be coming through.
Meanwhile, Premier David Eby has echoed his stance on the Bishnoi Gang. Last week, he sent a letter to the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, with hopes of federal support. But the Premier did not give any other information other than conversations are happening.
We've reached out to Ontario and Alberta to encourage them to join our call. These are two provinces that have been similarly affected by this extortion conduct. And we believe that the more provinces that are supportive, the faster the federal government will move on this.
City News reached out to the Federal Ministry of Public Safety on the progress of classifying the Lawrence Bishnoi Gang a terrorist organization, but they wouldn't comment on entities under review, but noted that this is an ongoing process. In Vancouver, Joe Stadowski, City News.
All right. I got this one that just came in related to all that. A shooting in Surrey, possibly tied to the Bishnoi Gang. So if you didn't know, now you know. They got a leader that's up there in India. And he's been causing havoc in Canada. Not because he's here, but because he's got relations. And those relations living here are down with those guys. And so they've been extorting. There's been a wave of extortions targeting that community specifically. So they're more comfortable doing it to other Indians. So Indian business owners, because if you go to British Columbia, there's tons of very successful ones, law-abiding, work hard, businessman, all that. But they're the targets of these people. These people think they can get away with it, and they're terrorizing the community, demanding payment. Do you notice the common trope in Canada? Whether you're on the West Coast, such as here, or in the East Coast, such as where I'm at, and with the stories I've been covering in Montreal, you got these Arabic gangs, but that's not fair to just say Arabic gangs. We found out there's multi-ethnic gangs with Haitians in them too that are vying to extort the downtown businesses. Remember we found out storyline between, was it 2 or 3 gangs that are extorting the downtown, but one of them we recently found out it was a shocker. It was from the Irish community, bunch of Irish names in there, so it was the Irish underworld. That's what we found out. That was the breaking news one. So when they said there was 2 or 3 extorting, the Irish was in there. But you see, it's going on all across Canada. How come this is all suddenly happening? Why wasn't this happening 20 years ago? 10, 15, 30. Why? Why is it now? Why are the factors or the forces, what are the forces at play that is pushing everything to this convergence point, with all of it happening at the same time? I don't believe in coincidences. I just think that there's an explanation, an perhaps indirect explanation. I'll let your minds figure that one. But here you have it. A new shooting in Surrey, possibly tied to the Bishnoi Gang. Let's see. So they're not giving me a date, but they're saying the owner of a business, Ragbir Singh Nijjar, he owns a trucking company in Surrey, affirms that 2 men shot at his company, I guess, in his building, as well as the station vehicles. I guess that was the part of the footage that we just saw. In the footage, we saw them breaking windows with bats or something. But in this, maybe it's not the same exact one. But I'm thinking it would be. But here he's saying they shot at my business this morning. 2 people arrived in a black vehicle. And he says that after this event, he received an extortion call coming from a gang member inside of India, where we were asking of him $500,000. Yeah, he called the RCMP, of course. Now, the RCMP saying that there was a shooting Thursday morning, and they want to know if it was, no, I guess this is the shooting. On Thursday is tied to another one that happened in August. Because they think it might be, they're both related in extortions. Anyways, I think currently the police of Surrey are investigating numerous cases of extortion. There has been 10 events related to extortion in Surrey in the last 6 months, affirms the police. And we heard about the Prime Minister of British Columbia. I was going to say Columbia. British Columbia wanted to make. Was that her we heard talking? She said they wanted to. I apologize. They'd love to designate them terrorist organization. So that's the guy right here, Lawrence Bishnoi, under arrest. And by the way, he's also practically assumed. It's the word on the street that we had a Canadian rapper, Sidhu Moosewala, very good at what he used to do. I don't understand any of it, but that's how you know how good he is. When you can actually feel the music was good without understanding a word. That guy had talent. And he reminds of Tupac Shakur. He had a short life, very exciting, and game-changing. And he died real quick, and he died in a legendary status. His music is going to be unmatched. You could tell right away. No one's going to match that in that community. But he went out like a legend, like Tupac. So he's like the Tupac of their community. And that's not even an exaggeration, you know? It's very reasonable to say that. But that guy, apologies, that person I'm talking about, he came from India, and he launched his rap career over here. He blew up, and that guy got killed. He got killed when he went back to India for a bit or whatever in his village. But this man right here, the Bishnoi Gang, practically admitted to having had him offed. You heard that right. So, seems to have some power, this guy, where he can summon orders from India inside of Canada. Crazy. Now, where are we here? Oh, I'm not going to waste time on this article. I just found it interesting. They're saying that a daycare owner is going to go to prison for 3 years because he was trafficking fire tools. Imagine that, a daycare worker. That's as much time I'm going to spend on this. I just found it interesting. You might think it's a one-off thing. For me, it was not. It's a one-off thing for Canada, I guess. But I've heard this same story happening in the East Coast, but in New York, where another kindergarten or a daycare thing, I think it was more like a daycare place, the owners were trafficking Fenty and arms too. It was big. It was a big story because one of the kids went to play hide and seek, went in the closet, and I don't know what happened, but he got his hands on the Fenty in the closet. And he's just a baby, and the baby died, you know? That's the closest. I just found interesting that here in Quebec, you know, what do you have? It's something so random like that. What are the chances daycare owner trafficking cane or trafficking tools, fire tools? But you see, occurrences like that, which are super odd, can repeat themselves in more, but maybe not in the same spot, in more than one location. But even if they are odd, they can repeat themselves, as an example we have here. All right, next one. Now we're going to the more main stories for me. This story is about Marc-André Lachance. So you would like sort of calling him Mark Henry the Chance. Is he going to be lucky? I don't know nothing about this guy. How lucky is Lachance? He would have given a beating to a cop. I don't get it. Il aurait déjà donné une raclée à un policier. I guess he already beat up a cop or gave a punch to a cop, but he was caught selling a key of cane. Marc-André Lachance will appear in court on Saturday. Okay. A trafficker of stupefactors who has once given a beating to a cop. I think I remember this story. It's about a decade ago. It's really old. I hardly remember. I think it's him. I think he met, I don't know how, but something about he bumped into a Montreal police investigator inside of Mexico. He bumped into him there, and it's the land of the lawless. So he beat the hell out of him over there. I think it's him, unless it happened more than twice. See, he says 2011. It's got to be him, because that's around when I remember that story. Such a long time ago. But I don't remember anything else. I just remember that there was a guy who beat a cop in Mexico. It made big news back then. So it's got to be him. So right off the bat, memory's not good. He beat up a cop in Mexico. Let's roll the dice. He's part of the Hells Angels pipeline somewhere. At once upon a time, he was at least. Let's check. That's all you need to know. That he beat up a cop in Mexico, and you can maybe jump on those conclusions. Let's see if we roll the dice correctly here. Well, yeah. First off, a trafficker of stupefactors. Okay, yeah, I cheated. I guess I didn't notice, but It's true. I did read Trafficker of Cane. That goes with it. I guess it was almost solved already. Because they just like to ride their motorcycles. They just coincidentally have all these people being targets of cops for kilos. But what's going on? So he gets arrested again. Oh, I see what they're doing here. I thought he was arrested back then. So he got caught lately for trafficking kilos of cane again. Basically, that's what would sum up this story. So it was in the North Shore area. They were observing him in the process of selling a key to a client. When the cops came to intervene, they discovered 5 other keys inside of his bag. As to the clients who were buying it from him, they were arrested too, and he also had a fire tool on him. Okay. I'm more interested in the past. Okay. Playa del Carmen. He had once made the airwaves many years ago, 2011, when he punched or beat up violently a cop in a bar in Playa del Carmen. So those bars are cartel bars, usually, in these Playa del Carmen places. It's very well known. On his vacation to Mexico, with numerous colleagues. So now they're talking about the cops. The cops went to Mexico to party. And he thought he had recognized 2 sympathizers of the Hells Angels, of which Lachance. There you go. So yeah, like I told you, it was pretty, it was pretty dead on. He was a sympathizer of the Hells Angels. The cops bumped into him. The cops said, "Hey, wait a second, I recognize you. I know you. Wait a sec, And nostalgia hit his brain. He couldn't believe it. He had a dopamine rush. Maybe he approached the guy. Let's see. The cop then photographed them, which the 2 men did not appreciate. The 2 co-accused would have then dragged the police officer who was on vacation. They would have dragged him to a VIP, I guess a VIP spot inside of the bar. Maybe they have like these, I don't know, maybe if you go to a strip club, they have those private lap dance places, maybe something like that, maybe. But it says a private VIP area in order to beat him up. And it says for long hours. For long hours, it says here. The investigator had to go have surgery for numerous broken bones. Remember, they beat him up for hours. In 2014, Lachance had been condemned to 2.5 years in this affair. Imagine, you get 2 years and a half for breaking every bone in a man's body, even if that man's a cop. That's what you get in Canada. You're surprised that 10 years later, the lucky one strikes again? Of course. It's not rocket science. But, however, as he was already purging 6 years for something else, stupefier trafficking, they could only really in net elongate his sentence for 6 months in total. Canada's funny, man. Canada, exactly. No duh. What's the dumbest thing that could happen? That's what's going to happen. He has also been accused of intimidating police officers. And blah, blah, blah. We're going to skip the rest. Conflict with the bikers. That's the kind of lines that I like to find when I read these. Marc-André Lachance is still today considered as a sympathizer of the Hells Angels. According to our info, he would have once rather have had certain conflicts with the bikers related to territories for sale of stupefiers. So once upon a time, he had an argument with them. However, they don't think that he's on unfriendly terms no longer. He would be active on the north and south of Montreal. There you go. Now, we go a throwback because we're getting an update here on a storyline that we keep reading about. The death of Arsène Mompoint, the guy who got killed in the First Nations town or reserve, whatever you call them, dispensary. He may have been set up, he may have been followed. All that we know is that Frédéric Silva, when he snitched, he had to speak about over 60 murders that he knew about, some which he probably committed himself. But one of those plots, his name, Arsène, was in there. And Arsène was the leader, one high influential person of the older generation. You see him, he's not 25, one of the Red Gangs. And he joined the Scopa brothers' side. And he has his own guys under him working with him. So they will all be allied to the Scopa side. Magically, Scopa's dead. What's his name? Kashim, magically, who's friends with him, dead. And Arsène Mompoint himself, dead. All by coincidence, all of them are dead. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately. And that Arsène Mompoint, who Gregory Woolley probably had a hand in it too. And in fact, when I cut my thought earlier, as I keep repeating for those who don't know, the recent years when Frédéric Silva snitched, and he talked about it, it launched an investigation where the cops, about 2 years ago, we covered it. They had a massive raid in all over Montreal, but the thing about that raid was they went to the homes, the personal homes of, they could have been Leonardo Rizzuto, could have. I'm not sure about that one. I can't recall clearly. But I can tell you there was other mafia members of the high levels that were getting knocks at their door, as in they are implicated. And then we had Hell's Angels' home also being knocked at, as in they were implicated. And it was just knock on a door in a raid. But recently we had it confirmed. It came out in court documents, which they told us about. And they know that all these people are had a hand. They wanted this man right here dead. So what are we getting here? So yeah, he says the SQ went knocking at the homes of numerous mafiosis in this case. So it's getting solved. Now, the confessions of the hitman, Frédéric Silva, which have allowed the police to arrest several leaders of the Rizzuto clan for their alleged role of plotting murders on Thursday. That hitman who snitched played an incredible role in this investigation, in the assassination of Arsène Mompoint here. Yeah, see court documents deposed in April. Yeah, we're going to skip this. An ambitious godfather, it says here. Silva, who was associated to the Rizzuto clan, has divulged the ramifications behind the murder of Arsène Mompoint. Okay, what are they? Now, this, I had a mistake last time. I thought maybe they were in court. That's not the case. It's more of these two, I think. They landed back to Montreal. Who knows where they went? I'm assuming they went to Catholica Heraclea, to tie familial bonds, the old ritual, and to reminisce on their roots. And they came back to Montreal, and someone was waiting to be their chauffeur drive guy. And that's him right here. So, Frédéric Silva. So all this one's at the airport. Keep going. So the cops were following him. They knew they were here. And Stefano Solicito, if you didn't know, now he's in a wheelchair. And Leonardo Rizzuto in the back. Mompoint, nicknamed Big Mouth, was killed with at least 3 rounds to the head inside of the green room, where they sell the green plant in a Mohawk reserve on the 1st of July, 2021. Crazy, that was 4 years ago. How quickly it passed. There you go, you have them right here. This picture's almost 10 years old. It's 9 years now. Crazy. 9 years, a decade, guys. We're talking about stuff like this, man. The issue. Now from the gangs, from street gangs, Mompoint had forged himself a reputation as a handyman, an ambitious one, working for the account of numerous factions in organized crime. As a courier. Not sure if that's what it means. I think it means that. To execute crimes of violence, according to police documents that we could consult. Now that's a vehicle of the hitman that came to kill Arsène Mompoint, and then when they exit, just like in British Columbia, they burn the vehicles right there, which is becoming more and more common. We associated him to the mafia clan of the two Scopa brothers, who tried to take control of the Montreal Mafia from the Rizzuto clan in the 2016 and 17, right there in the latter years of the Mafia Wars. So one part of that Mafia War could be separated, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, based on observing, in two waves. There was two phases. The initial phase was more with, what do you call it? It's not coming. It was with, why is it not coming to me? With the older head, the Calabrians, not Reynal Desjardins, and with Ponytail DeVito. Then Ponytail got, I think he was on the run, and eventually he went to prison. The second wave, the second phase of it, with the remaining people, because there was the other guy who was old head. He went to Mexico and he got killed over there. Forgot his name. We talk about him a lot. His daughter-in-law got murked last year or 2 years ago. That was the first wave. Now they got the second wave, the remaining one. He's here, and he got off. I think he and his brother got off. There's a third brother, and his third brother seems to be walking scot-free now, and everything seems good. Not that it shouldn't be. Just an observation here. Let's keep going. Aaron Baker, holy smokes, I caught alive. Welcome, buddy. I guess your time's late. Over here it's 11:52. I don't get a chance to do it at 11:52 often. I'm milking this. So here's a picture of 2016, Scopa, unidentified. You note that they blur out the face. Why do you have to blur out the face? In my opinion, the reason they blurred out these faces is these are probably confidential informants now. That's the only reason I can see why to block this. Because I don't think ordinary people are hanging around in the middle of a meeting between Scopa and Arsène Mompoint. And you see Arsène Mompoint over there looking at something, like he's impressed with something here. I don't know if you can see it, man. When I zoom in, it doesn't zoom in for you. If you look at this, do you have another picture? Not this one. It's not this one. If you look, he's kind of checking something out. They don't know they're being surveilled, but he's impressed from something. He's hanging around big guys here. So I don't know what it is, what they showed him, what they're seeing. But there you have Scopa, also seems to be checking. He doesn't look impressed. He looks more suspicious. You know, it's crazy. There's an old lady who went to the gym that he went, and she said he was a normal guy when he was there, and she could not believe it. He would come, say hi to her, go work out at the gym. Funny enough, that's the gym that he left, and he got murked right there. It's a small world, but you wouldn't be able to tell, according to her. Let's keep going. Where are we? Yeah, so I guess it's the same thing. Now, we're still talking about Arsène Mompoint here. He would have also executed several contracts for the account of the Sicilians. So he had his hands dipped a little bit everywhere. Even their enemies. He had worked for them a bit before. Just shows you what Montreal gang landscape looks like, how complicated it gets. On the 5th of December, last December, our bureau, this newspaper, not mine, but TVA Nouvelle, had revealed that the investigators of Project Alliance suspected Mompoint of being one of the shooters of mafioso Tony Caloccia. I did make a storytelling episode. He was briefly mentioned, and I can't remember why. But I do remember his name. It's been a while, man. But this is Tony Caloccia. So they actually suspect Mompoint of being one of the shooters. Or he's one of the suspects. Maybe they're not 100% sure, but they suspect it's either him or either somebody else, which is unnamed right now. Interesting. In 2014. Tonino Caloccia. Tonino Caloccia, a high grade of the Rizzuto clan inside of the Montreal Mafia, was offed by rounds in a restaurant on Boulevard Henri Bourassa. That'll be the northern end of Montreal, almost at the tip of it. It goes from east to west. It's probably one of the longest streets in the city. And so he was offed, so I don't know where he was offed. On the east side, on the west side, no clue. But it's a restaurant, and it happened on the 1st of December, 2014. Sad, isn't it, that it was 11 years ago. Once you pass away, my friend, or I pass away, time will go fast. It's like we never existed. It's sad. It's sad. Let's keep going. Mobsters of high levels. No arrests were deposed. No criminal accusations were deposed by the director of... I don't know I forgot how you would translate this. But you know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. Just tell you how the courts did not pose any criminal accusations for the assassination of Mompoint. Interesting that they have not. But they have enough information. They don't have the evidence to support the claim. But having Silva corroborate so many things, they probably believe him. Nevertheless, we are learning in these court documents, the declarations of Silva have allowed the SQ to have the authorization for search warrants at no more than less than 13 people. My apologies. So they went to the homes of no less than 13 people, of which half of them are high-grade levels members of the Rizzuto clan. For the investigation, in relation to the investigation of the murder of Mompoint. So they imagine maybe they found out Mompoint had something to do with his death. They suspected him. He's the guy he's the guy who's working for Scopa. Scopa he's trying to undermine them. So they see that their guys are dying. They suspect Scopa, and they said, let's neutralize him. So you would neutralize their soldiers on the street. That's how you can neutralize the threat. If there's no soldiers to kill you, then you can't die. I'm assuming here. I'm completely speculating. I mean, not assuming is not the right word. Speculating, based on what we have here. And then we don't have Rizzuto here. Okay, and him here. They're here, both in the same picture. Decided that they need to annihilate the threat. So they went for this guy here. So far as what I led to believe here. Because of this article. It's almost like they're saying this, but they're not really saying it. It's in between the lines. You know what I mean? Now, where are we? Co-director of the Montreal Mafia, Solicito, when he was in 2017. Very interesting how quickly that degraded. When's this picture then? Interesting, isn't it? Look at Solicito here. He's like reverse aging. In this picture, it says that it was on March of 2015. Here it looks almost like a cancer patient. But then you look at him here. He says Stefano in 2017. Odd, isn't it? Very odd. Something's not right. Or it's just right and it doesn't make sense, despite its reality. But one of his principal lieutenants, so when he says his, I just want to be sure. I guess I don't have a choice to say is his lieutenant here. So we see now we have a hierarchy based on what they're telling us. We got Stefano Solicito, we got Leonardo Rizzuto. Let's just say equal. Then they're implying that underneath him, his principal lieutenants is the salvager Vito Salvaggio right here, whose name's been mentioned on over and over and over and over in numerous reports. A presumed co-director of the Rizzuto clan, captured in video surveillance in Operation Mago Mastiff in 2013. The infamous one with Gregory Woolley was arrested, with Salvatore Cazzetta, ex-Rock Machine, now Hells Angels, was arrested, and Leonardo Rizzuto was arrested. I believe Stefano was arrested. Not sure about that one. But they went knocking all these guys' doors. That was the most famous one. And then after that, Gregory Woolley went to prison for that, remember? And the cops went on an interview to Gregory Woolley. Remember I showed you there was a videotape? They filmed the cops' interrogation with Gregory Woolley. Gregory Woolley was sitting there, was saying nothing. He was like, he was basically saying absolutely nothing. Not even let me get out of here. I don't want to talk. He was just shaking his head like no, and without saying a word. But the cops were trying to psychologically mind F him. And they were telling him, that's the, why I'm telling you this is because they were, you remember the cop was telling him, come on, Gregory, you know you effed up. Something along that line. You know you effed up with the bikers. You know, right, starting today, you'll have a lot more enemies that you ever had. You realize this now, don't you, Gregory Woolley? After tonight, what you just did, what just happened to you. Everything's gonna blow up in your face, isn't it, huh? That's a very intriguing thing if we can ever resolve that one. Why did the cops tell him that after Projet Mago Mastiff? Why? So if remember, Gregory Woolley finally got killed like 2 years ago, I think. Not last November, no, November before, I believe. Was it 2023, sorry. So, and the story I'm telling you is from 2015. So there's a difference of 8 years? So for us it's new. Oh look, Gregory Woolley hated he became enemies with them. But that stuff didn't. If you listen to the cops' implicit interrogation or whatever you say, it started a long time ago. I mean, it looks like there was something going on way back then, unless the cop was just playing with him completely and he didn't know what he was talking about. Let's keep going. But now we got the Barbarian, David Barbario. I'm having fun with this. It's not actually his nickname. I don't know anything. I'm making it up. The boss of the streets for the Montreal Mafia. Him, we had that few years ago. Not sure. For me, it's not solved. Maybe I forgot. But he was in front of he has a nice house. He was in front of it. And a hit team or a hit guy came and he tried to off him. And I think he actually got shot. And maybe his children was there too. That I'm not sure about that part. I hope not. But that's what I heard. That's what I think I heard. I don't remember. It's been so long. But for sure they tried to kill him. Now, based off my memory, which is not going to be reliable, so I wouldn't put too much weight on this, I think it was related to, completely wrong probably, Rénal Desjardins and his nephew, if you know what I'm talking about. The guy with the ponytail, I forgot his name. Who they say he goes to Ontario a lot. Or he may even be living there. Let's keep going. Who Ray metaphorically adopted, because his dad died, and I think he made a promise to his dad. Because his dad, I think it was it, right? I think it was his dad who asked him, he was getting old, maybe he was passing. I can't remember any details. Maybe he got killed. At this point, I'm too confused in my memory. But I know that he had good relationship with his dad, and his dad passed away, and then Ray and the dad was like a mentor to him too. So it's like everything comes in circle. Anyways, I think those two may have been related to this guy getting shot, but don't quote me on that one. I could be completely wrong on this. Let's keep going. But I'd like to know. I do like to be reminded why he was shot, so that it can be cleared up. So for the future, I got my nice update, refresh. Then we got the man of the hour. He's the man of the hour. He's the name that's been popping up the last 2 years on the newspaper. Twice in a year, they linked a cane ring. They believe they're linking a cane ring somehow to him. Somehow to this guy. And this photo shot is him going to Gregory Woolley's funeral. Right? And there you go. They're saying rising star in the Rizzuto clan, Pietro Diadamo. There you go. And where are we at? And then, of course, Mr. Spagnolo, he goes clubbing with a knife. You don't mess with the guy when he's clubbing. Because you can't just leave, man. He's going to follow you. Going to follow you, man. Doesn't forgive that quick. You might get shanked. But his father, Vincenzo Spagnolo, as well. But I think he passed away, right? He was really old. He passed away. And he was close, says here, close friends to Vito Rizzuto. No, he got killed. It says he was killed in 2016. So during the Mafia Wars. So that's why they can bond so well. The Stefano Solicito, Spagnolo, Rizzuto. Something tells me these three bond really well. They understand each other really well. They have each other's backs really well. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I get this feeling here when all three of you lost a dad in the Mafia Wars. What else could you bring you close like that? You like naturally have so much more respect for the other guy, I would imagine, as much as he would have for you. Nobody else on the rest of the planet could be able to understand you three. It's not everyone's dad that's get murdered in a mafia war. You know? You gotta think about this. Whose parents know each other and all that. Let's keep going. Look, this photo was taken at the funeral of Rocco Solicito. All right. And then you have, why are they naming all these people? I don't even remember why. I don't even realize why. It says mobsters of high level. I guess they're starting to name them. But then they got to him. I would call him more of a gangster. Gang boss, biker now, Jean-Philippe Celestin, considered as the new protector of the Sicilian clan. So Gregory Woolley was the protector of the Sicilian clan. He got offed. Now he's the protector of the Sicilian clan. The thing makes no sense. Because, well, I explained it 5 million times before. Certain things that we're learning about sort of contradict each other. Makes no sense. Some people say Gregory Woolley got killed by the bikers. Well, if they got killed by the bikers, he shouldn't be joining them. He actually joined them. So then you'd think he had a hand in Gregory Woolley's death. Maybe. You know? Because there's no other way to explain that. Why would you join the people who killed your buddy? Unless you backstabbed your buddy now. Because by joining them, you did backstab them. So, but then if you backstabbed Gregory Woolley, you cannot be with the Sicilians. You cannot be their protectors either. That would make no sense at all. Because the Sicilians, if you believe that theory of Gregory Woolley getting offed by bikers, the Sicilians are going to be enemies with the bikers. They're going to hate them. They took off their protector, which was Gregory Woolley. So how could he here that joined the bikers be the protector? There's conflicting assumptions somewhere in all this story, the way that it's being presented to us. We're assuming something wrong in all this. Something's not matching, in my opinion. Where are we? Yeah, so these are the guys who got, now I remember now. They're naming these 5 people because these are the people that came out. Their names came out in the operation after the death of Arsène Mompoint, why he got killed, who they think had a hand in it. Now I remember. Man, this article is really well done. I gotta give them this, really well done. They didn't even tell us, they didn't outright go and say they think Arsène Mompoint was killed because of this, but it seems to imply it. Because they did say that he had a hand in Tonino Caloccia, they think. Now he's dead. I don't even want to say something like that. If someone's dead, it's not really fair. but that's what they're implying. Next one, Woolley himself was a target of those searches, but he's dead now, or it would have been him too on the list. The rivalry between Gregory Woolley, who we call the godfather of gangs, and Mompoint, the ex-leader of Unit 44, Blood Gang, has been documented in police reports dating to 2020. There you go. Here you have Gregory Woolley in 2014. Crazy, that was 11 years ago. And it's like it looks as if Frédéric Silva is reporting to his boss. He has his back turned to him. He's checking the cell phone that he passed to him. It almost looks like the guy gave him a document, gave him a cell phone, gave him something, and he's waiting for the boss's orders. It almost looks like that in these pictures. It's always the cops that get the best pictures like this. Crazy, man. All right. Oh, yeah, Marc-André Lachance. If you wanted another picture of Marc-André Lachance, the guy who beat up the cops in Mexico, the cop in Mexico, whatever, that's just another picture of him. So we don't need to read this one. It's the same story. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it out here. Thank you for watching. And if you like to support the channel, the only way to help me out, because YouTube's a big waste of time, is to join, subscribe, like the video, or something like that. The only way, man. Like I said, you know. Shout out to you guys, man. But one day this might end here. One day I might just. But right now it's cool. It's cool, man. For now, let's enjoy the time together. Thanks a lot, and shout out to Green Thumb, Chris Inslee, Javier Latin, Starboy Stacks. What is that? Or I don't know. That something tells me you're making fun of him. I'm not sure if we're talking about the same Stacks here. We got Miss Jordan Levy, because we know there's chatting with Stacks. Jordan Levy, DCA. What's up, DC? What's up, buddy? Zachary Mitchell, long time Zachary. Ryan C. Alistair the Thrice Fried 3 times. Aaron Baker, what's up, buddy? And did I say Jordan Levy before? Or Levi? There you go. Moreno, he says. Yes, that's the guy I was. And Billy Gamel. What's up, Billy? God bless you all. Thank you for your time, man. Thank you for hanging out and letting me try to translate these and try to piece these things together with the memory that I got. Because I don't have a good memory. I sort of do, but I kind of don't. Thanks a lot, pal. Have a great night.